Hi, Merch Money. We have a special live today. Christina and I decided to go live just to talk about a couple different topics. One, we wanted to talk about the KDP Kickstart that Christina went live the other day and talked about. And then we also wanted to talk about the video that I recommended everybody watch that Dale had done. So we're going to talk about both those things. We're going to wait a little while, let some people, log on because I know this was unplanned, so we got to give some people some time. But what do you think, Christina? You want to? You did such a good job. I told her, I was like, she went live by herself because I forget why. I was doing something or didn't feel good or something. I don't remember, but it was so. Oh, I think I was about to do the live with you, Gar, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was doing that live, and she did the live herself. And I watched it later and I was like, oh my gosh, it's hard going live by yourself. So you did a great job.
Yeah, I just kind of went back to my my old days as, like a trainer, and I just pretended like I was talking to people, even if I didn't see anybody out there. I was like, well, I'm just going to keep talking anyway. So
yeah. It's one of those things that's just like really hard to get used to, just talking to a camera. It's like,
Yes, it is.
So
I still, and every time I get on here, my husband's like, I don't know how you do that. He's like, I just couldn't do it every week. And he's like multiple times a week. So yeah.
Aw, well, that's good. Yeah, I've realized it really is a big deal because there's so many people who can't or won't do it. So I don't know why. For some reason, it hasn't seemed like. I guess I was really scared the very first time we went live when we first started the show. But after that, it always feels like a conversation to me. It always feels like nice people. I don't know. It's still hard for me if I'm completely by myself. But as long as there's at least one other person to talk to, it's not too bad.
Yeah. Looks like we've got Ryan and Ian with us.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Thank you, guys. Well, I don't know if you guys heard Christina yesterday go live, but we're going to talk about some of the same stuff, answer any questions you guys have. When we went to Columbus, we kind of, at the beginning of the year, we planned out what we wanted to do in Merch Money and also the Merch Money Mastermind. So we planned out 8-week sessions in the mastermind group. And so March and April is a KDP focus. So KDP is something that I really wanted to focus on myself this year because all the previous years I've focused on merch. And I still am uploading to merch, but just more at a slower pace. Like now my focus is learning KDP, doing KDP, making my own interiors. So that's something else that we wanted to talk about. Christina and I have both worked on making our own interiors, mainly because we just wanted to differentiate ourselves from other people. But it was interesting timing because yesterday I posted a video that Dale did. If you guys haven't seen it, search for it in the group. He did a great video about how, in his opinion, no content books are starting to come to an end. This is not something that I know directly. Like I haven't talked to anyone at KDP, so I don't know. But according to that video, it has to do with Ingram's Spark. So when you click expanded distribution, that's where it's going to become an issue in April, right? Do you want to add to any of that?
Yep. I just saw a comment that's Tim Massey that just said Dale is full of it. So,
well, you never know. I mean, it is a real letter, and it might just affect the KDP expanded distribution. And again, I don't want to say yes or no or anything because it's all secondhand knowledge from me. I didn't receive the letter from Ingram Spark, and I also haven't talked directly to somebody at KDP. So all I know is that it has been working so far, but regardless, it is something to consider. Like, do you really want to keep uploading notebook after notebook, very little differentiation from anyone else? Like, I could see them seeing that as a potential problem at some point in time. So it is it's something to at least consider, that if they do decide to go that way of limiting, or I don't know, maybe prohibiting, but at least limiting no content books, at least you would know how to do low content.
Yes.
So no content's pretty easy to figure out anyway. So we're not going to really focus on no content books, because that you could probably figure out on your own. We'll be talking about low content books. So things like coloring books. In that letter they sent, it was saying basically it's a problem when it's books that have, what was it, 10% blank or more?
Yeah. Yep. 10% blank pages or more. So,
yeah. So things like coloring books, things like, I would think that prompts and things like that, like trackers and things like that counts as something on the page. It's not blank. So that should be okay. And again,
I think that even if it's, like if you're doing like a sketchbook or something like that, where the page, like most of the page is blank, what we would do is like more of like a prompt sketchbook or something like that. So each page has some sort of content on it.
right.
And it like Helen said, it's not something that KDP has come down on anyone for yet, but I could honestly see it happening at some point, or see them somehow start to figure out if the interiors are exactly the same between books, so I think that even with like, if we show you how to do a lined notebook, like when I do lined notebooks, I always add artwork to it. I don't just send it through as is. So, so we'll touch on that, but more of what we'll be doing, like Helen said, is like, journals that are for a certain niche with maybe like prompts at the top, or customized fields, or who knows, there's just so many different options out there. And if we can, our goal is to teach people how to be unique on KDP. So
and I think it depends on where you are in your journey, what you're doing. I mean, for myself, I've already been doing merch for quite a few years, and it's kind of just like, in the rhythm of doing it, upload a design, upload, so it's kind of nice to just like, I'm just sort of, I know at the beginning of the year, I said my goal was 3,000. I think I'm probably going to lower that, because I really just want to make sure that I'm doing all low content, like no, just blank lines and stuff. So I probably will lower it, but it's nice to just take your time, really dig into a niche and find just stuff that's not there yet. So for me, it's fun to just slow down a little bit and really dive into things. Because before it was like just like a race to try to get to 10K and get all those shirts up. And now it's like, okay, I got the shirts up, accomplished that goal. Like, I'm sure I'm going to want to get to 100K and everything. But it's nice to take a little break and focus on KDP and really taking my time and having more fun with all of it, more fun with the research, more fun with like making sure the keywords are all right, and really quality is basically what we're getting at. That's what we're going to be focusing on.
Yes, exactly. So
Ian, this time you are showing his Facebook user. Earlier today, when I was doing a live, I was like, oh, Ian, you don't have to say your name anymore. You're showing up as Ian. I don't know what happened. But there was a time where I saw his name.
I know.
But Ian's focusing on merch this year. No KDP. Okay. So don't want to get you distracted, Ian.
Nope.
We are just interested to learn it.
Yes.
And it's kind of fun. It really is. Like it's some of the same things where you're uploading designs and stuff like that, but it's just a little different, a little more to it.
Yep. And I'm bringing my experience from the corporate world again. So I used to go in, I went into companies who had no forms. Like They didn't have a handbook. They didn't have an application. They didn't have anything. So I would have to create all of these books and forms and performance review forms and all kinds of stuff. So, so I'm excited to like teach people how to do this stuff
She's
too.
like, interiors, I love this.
I know.
It's right in your wheelhouse.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I have a lot of favorite things to do, but it's one of them. I've always loved like creating and, things like that. So, but yeah, one of the books that I created, mine, like I only have maybe, gosh, I think like 15, 20 books up on KDP. So I don't have that many, but the ones I do have are pretty custom. Most of them are. I think I've got 2 just lined journals. Those were my first 2. And those even sell.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but yeah, some of the custom ones I did, like they're the only ones out there. And so, when someone needs that kind of book, that's where they go. So, Ian.
Ian, that's his name now.
No,
no Etsy either. I totally get it. Just watch any of the first 75 episodes of Merch Money and you'll hear me over and over again be like, I'm uploading to merch.
Yeah.
So yes, I totally understand all sides. If you want to focus on just one thing religiously, I did that. My thought process is focus on one thing until you hit a certain point, whatever you decide that is, and then kind of focus on another thing. Just because it's still in the same line. Like it's not like I'm doing, I don't know, some totally different industry or something. But it's fun to switch it up a little bit.
Yes, it is.
Huge bulletin from Etsy. Is that still Ian saying that?
Yep.
Was that about marketing? Wasn't it a big
advertising?
Yeah, advertising. They changed advertising.
Yep. Switching it back up again, but they also made it so there's anyone who has over, I think it's 10,000 in sales, they have like a mandatory like advertising fee or whatever. So that's, people are getting like pretty ticked off about that, I guess. So I wish I had 10,000 in, sales to be ticked off about that. So wish I had that problem.
Yeah, I have an Etsy store, but I put it on vacation at some point and I never took it off. So it has been on vacation for like 6-7 months, something like that. I don't know. I just could never quite get into Etsy. I'm sure at some point I will focus on it again and have that be a focus for a while. But for right now, it's like there's just so many places to have royalty income that I just can't quite get myself to really take the time to do a store. But guys, don't worry. Someday I'll get there and want to do that. There's so many opportunities, so many good things. There are. So I'm sure Etsy will make its way into my focus at some point.
Yep. And he said Etsy ads are no risk now. You pay when you sell something. I didn't know that. Wow.
Starting in April.
I'm going to start putting ads on everything then. So, wow.
Nice.
Some people are going to be really excited about that. I know that, I think Teresa, she's one that like she does really well on Etsy. I think Lance does really well on Etsy too. So, yeah. So, KDP,
exactly. That's what Ian's saying. Focus on KDP this year, hon. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. I can only handle Merch Money and one other focus. I can't handle more than that. So KDP, at least for these 8 weeks. But the way we scheduled it is everything kind of rolls into the next thing. So it'll be not too different than KDP the next 8 weeks. So we'll leave it at that.
Yes.
But yeah, what questions you guys have? What are you guys working on? Is anybody in the chat working on KDP right now? Dwayne's there. Hey, Dwayne.
Yay. And while you're letting us know, I'm excited for KDP coming up. Do better on Etsy. So for those of you that didn't see my live yesterday and don't know what Kickstart KDP is. We're calling that just our focus. So from March 1st to April 30th, we're calling that Kickstart KDP. It's our focus in the Merch Money Mastermind group. So to join that class or whatever course or 8 weeks of training, all you have to do is just join the mastermind group. And we have 2 deals going on right now to make that more affordable for everyone. We've got one that's a 2-month plan for $49.99. And if you lock in at that price and then you decide you want to stick around once this challenge is over, this training focus is over, we'll be starting another one. And that one will also last 2 months. So you could just basically renew every 2 months if you want. The other deal is an annual deal, which is it's almost a 40% savings. We're calling it the $229 until $229.
I love Christina came up with that. That was all her. I love that.
Yeah. Yep. So $229 for the entire year. Normal year is $360. That'll get you access to every training class that we do, all of the content that's already in there. So right now we've got an SEO keywords webinar that applies to merch, KDP, and Etsy. We've got the VA webinar that's in there as well, or that you would have access to.
That's true. We didn't even talk about that. We're talking about the focus, but once you're in the group, you're seeing everything that we've already done the last 3 months.
Yeah.
So, or 4 months, something. Yeah, there's a ton.
Yeah.
We have a topic section. You just click on each topic that you're interested in and you see all of our posts, all of our videos. We've gone live every Tuesday. And we've done a video together about whatever topic we're focusing on that week. So there's a lot in there already. And then there's the KDP focus.
Yeah. So it's a really great deal. And over the course of 8 weeks, we've got sort of an outline. We've got basically 8 sort of sections. Now our plan is to spend 1 week per section. However, we know that each person's going to be at like a different point. We might find that everyone already has a KDP account, so we don't need to go through that part of the training as much. So we'll be adjusting and kind of customizing it based on
who's in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And what you guys want, what you need. So
this is a good point right here. They said, I've still got to catch up on all those webinars. Exactly. That's one reason why we wanted to just go by 8 weeks at a time instead of just like a rush to learn everything in a week or two. We're like, let's just spread it out and just go live once a week. We're not going live every day, just once a week. And then that way you have time. If you miss that one, you have a whole week to watch it. Or the next week you could just watch 2 in a row. Like you have more time to catch up. You're not going to feel like you're getting behind because we have it spread out over 8 weeks.
Yep. And we'll be dropping content in several days a week. But we'll also have we'll have challenges for the week. Like, okay, this week here is, if you're a beginner, here's what you could work on. If you're more advanced or intermediate, here's what you could work on. So I know that the people in our mastermind group right now, they really enjoy assignments.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, when are you going to give us our next assignment?
Yeah, we're slacking on assignments. But we'll make sure for these 8 weeks that we do assignments.
Yep.
It's fun.
We've been calling them challenges. I don't know what we want to call them, but it's basically where we'll do kind of like a teaching point. We'll give you the skills that you need, and then we'll have you apply those skills and come back and say, okay, how did that go? What did you struggle with? What do you need help with? Yeah, it's a really supportive group. Love the mastermind group. It's, people really kind of help each other out, and it's nice to be able to share more in that group. So,
yeah. And some of my posts that I'm thinking about, we do the live shows on Tuesdays, But then the rest of the week, we'll do posts here and there. We'll do little tutorials, things like that. So a lot of my posts are going to be about just different types of books, because I didn't in the beginning realize like how many different kind of things you could do. I was thinking like notebooks, journals, and that's kind of where my thought process stopped. But there's so much. I mean, there's coloring books, there's activity books, there's like crossword puzzle books, there's guest books, trackers for all different things. There's so many different kinds of books. So I'll do posts about one kind of book at a time, just to kind of jog your memory. And then we'll have a topic section where it'll be types of KDP books. So anytime you're like, not stuck, where you're like, what should I do today? I can't think of a type of book. You can click on that section and just sort of, give yourself ideas of different types of books and different resources and things like that.
Yes. Yes. And Lisa said the best part is that it will always be there for you to go back and watch. And that's true. We're not getting rid of any content. I do understand why the challenges in the past were set up that way, because it does force people to take action and try to keep up. But we also know that some people have crazy busy lives, and once they got behind, they just weren't able to keep up, or they didn't get to apply what they learned right away because they had other focuses.
That was me most of the time. Yep.
Yeah.
I was so focused on merch that I would like certain parts of it would soak in, and I'd be like, okay, let me try to do my AMS ads or my keywords or whatever. But I was focusing it on merch. But it's nice when it's all in the mastermind group. So whatever you're focusing on at any time, or if you go back to something, you can always just click on the topics and be like, okay, let me see everything there is to know about Redbubble. Let me see everything there is to know about Etsy. Let me see, it's just all right there. And you can always, mix and match whatever you want to do. Yes. Not everybody wants to completely focus on KDP. So you could, follow along with the KDP challenges, but then look at some of the other stuff we've talked about. Maybe you want to also be building your Teespring store at the same time. Click on Teespring, learn about that. Like it's very customizable. Whatever you want to do, you can always ask questions. But myself personally, I will be focusing on KDP over these 8 weeks. So it's a great time to ask me any KDP questions.
Yes. Yeah. And I'll be primarily focused on KDP, but I still work on my merch account. I still find time for Etsy. And my goal with the KDP challenge is also to start setting everyone up and showing them how to sort of multitask and okay, if I'm going into this niche on Etsy, I'm going to create this custom book for it. What else do these customers want? If these customers were wearing a shirt, what would it say? If these customers needed other products, what would they be? And could I put those in my Etsy store? So it's all about us kind of taking a look and dissecting like the customer issues and customer, solving problems for customers basically in certain niches, and then figuring out how we can capitalize that in every aspect of our business.
Absolutely. This is a good comment too about when you find different stuff on your computer, because I have the same thing. I still have t-shirts that I had bought and never uploaded. Like I didn't have the spots or something happened. And so I still go back and I'm like, oh my gosh, this has got to go up. Or sometimes I would buy stuff for a holiday and then it was too late or something. So I try to remember to do it the next year and then forget. So it's like, we have so much stuff.
Yes. And that's another thing that we're going to talk about. So Lance said he's got, 100 different, that was Lance who made that comment. Okay. So he's got 100 different interiors, different niches or whatever. What we'll also be doing is kind of taking a look at those interiors. So when we take the time to create a custom interior, a lot of times we want to be able to scale that. And scaling it doesn't mean like, okay, I'm going to put a red cover on, I'm going to put a blue cover, I'm going to put a yellow cover. That's, to me, that's not necessarily scaling. To me is, okay, if we create a guest book interior and it was for Christmas, let's say, well, now I want to take that guest book and I want to think about all the other ways that someone might use a guest book, and then let's customize it for all those. So now that we've got this core interior, let's scale it to other niches that could use a guest book. So,
Yep.
Fellow, I just saw Ian's comment.
You guys are so funny. It's so fun. I can't believe we're almost at 2 years. It's so fun to like know everybody in the chat, and it's so nice.
Yes. Yes. Jacob Bates.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Jacob, welcome. He's the original KDP man.
Yes. Jacob, I'm finally learning KDP and doing KDP. I was definitely dragging my feet for a very long time, but
yes,
definitely my focus this year, KDP.
Yes. And you know me, when I go into something, like I have been reading every section of the Kindle Direct Publishing site. You would not.
Yeah, they have so much information on there. So many tips and
goals. Like there are interior creators and all kinds of stuff.
I know everything you need is right there. KDP. Guys, there's always a free way to learn, by the way. There's always a free way. So KDP and YouTube, between those two, you guys can learn all of this. The benefit of just being in a mastermind is it's just fun. Like you're learning with everyone else. So it makes it fun, and you bounce ideas off and whatever ideas we're doing too. So it's fun, but don't feel like you have to. There's plenty of ways to learn KDP.
Yes. And when we talk interiors, I'll be teaching. I think Helen might have some things that she does differently than I do. So she'll be hopefully showing her ways. I will be showing how to do it with Microsoft Word, Google Docs.
Yeah, Christina's excellent with training. Everyone in the chat that's in the mastermind can attest to that. I'm sure you guys have seen her training videos, even on YouTube. There's been a couple that you've done on the regular YouTube channel, but your training background is like shines through. Like you're so good with that. But yeah, and then I come in as the if you like I always do everything like the easiest possible way. That's where I come in. Like if you don't have a design background, if you don't have this, you don't have that, what's the easiest way to do it? Then you ask me, and I'm like, okay, this is how you do it, the easiest possible way.
Yes. And we need Helen. She's the cheerleader. She's the one that's like positive. Like I'm like, here are the facts. Okay. This is how we do it. This is how you can do it. This is and I give out challenges and I give out assignments, and Helen's like, do what you can, like just do one thing today. And, people feel good when Helen gives them advice. So I don't have that. So for me, I can train you to do something, but I can't make you feel good about it. I don't think so.
Anyway, it works well. We both work together, fill in the gaps.
Yes. So Tim asks, will there be a section of training on how to do ebooks? Yes. I was actually researching that. Was it yesterday? I think it was. Because that's something that I would like to do. So once we have, gone through these 8 weeks, my plan is to potentially publish a book with all of this content.
We got to publish a Merch Money book. We should just change this to a full content 8 weeks and write a book.
Yes.
I could finally do Chris Green's challenge to me where he's like, write a book. Maybe I'll just do that.
I'll have Helen write the foreword. Like she'll do the dedication part or something. Like talk about merch money, and then I'll put all my boring stuff in the rest of the book. So
We could do more of a book. When there used to be 5 people in Merch Money, I was telling them, I'm like, we should do like a whole series, like a Merch Money series of books, of 5 books, but each of us write one. So it's like,
oh, that would be really cool.
Wouldn't that be fun? So maybe we could do a
Yeah.
series. We could each write one.
We should. Yeah. I've always wanted to write a choose your own adventure book.
Really?
So,
Oh my God.
yeah. So that's on my list. But yes, Tim, we're going to talk about that as well. So because I was looking at the profits, and I don't know if people realize the profits on the ebooks are like 70% or something like that. Literally 70% royalty. I think
there's no cost. I mean, they're not printing out books and stuff, so it's just a little easier. Plus, you can do promotions and stuff. You can do free for a while, and then there's a lot of things you can do with it.
Yeah. So I was looking at that going, ooh, I'm like, now it's got me thinking like every book that I thought I was going to do.
I love these comments. You guys are so amazing. They're saying I'm channeling Napoleon Hill, and it's Think and Grow Your Merch. There we go. That could be the title of the book. Think and Grow Merch.
Yes.
So guys, I've been doing, speaking of focus, way too focused here. Like I do one book at a time. And so Napoleon Hill book is almost coming to an end. I've got like a couple more. I probably am going to finish it right at the end of February. I'm pretty much doing a book a month. It's probably not going to always be perfectly lined up, but so far it has been, where I'm just about done with the Napoleon Hill book. So if you guys are tired of that, don't worry. You only got a couple more days, and then it's going to switch to Atomic Habits. That book is amazing. I might actually take the whole rest of the year on that book. I apologize in advance. It is so good. I was trying, like, I listened to it on Audible. Then I was reading it, and every single line I wanted to highlight. And I'm like, they're not going to want the entire book as posts, but it was so hard to try to narrow down quotes, because it's such a good book. That's coming in March.
It is. I finally read that after I think I read that on the plane to Vegas there.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
A few weeks ago. Yeah. I was like, let's just, I had a 5-hour flight. So I was like, let's read this. And it was good.
It's funny how like different books hit you different times. Like I think right now I just need to work on my habits, because I think it's something that I'm not quite as good at. Like I thought that I could do it when I was working a regular job, but then as self-employed, I work hard. I'm excited about what I'm doing. I stay focused. So I got all that, but actual habits, like I think I am not great with that. I tend to just sort of do whatever I want to do throughout the day, and it's not very organized or very, there's definitely better ways. So I really like this book to try to be more purposeful with my day and develop better habits.
Nice.
Oh, this is good. Another good comment. I want to thank you for having Harris on.
I was sad that I missed him today. I really wanted to catch that one.
It's so fun to meet all these people in person, not in person, but, talk to them it feels like in person. Because it's just, you just learn so much more. Like I had no idea who he was at all, like no clue. And then it was nice to talk to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been fun to push myself to keep talking to people, messaging people, asking them to be on the show. I was telling Christina, I like messaged to ask a question to somebody. And then before I knew it, I was a speaker for their like online conference. I'm like, oh my God. Like I told Christina, I'm like, this is what I get for asking a question. But I'm excited about it. I was just joking, but it's when you push yourself to keep talking to everybody and keep messaging a certain amount of people every single week, not only can you find people for the show, but you just build better connections, and then you never know what's going to happen. I mean, so many of the times it's been like, oh, do you want to speak at this? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And it's like, oh, yes,
sure. Yeah.
It's been a great experience.
Yeah. So what else would you guys like to see or in the KDP class or anything else you want to know if it will include. We're open to suggestions. If there's something that you want to learn, if I am capable of learning it, then I will teach you. So,
And she's capable of learning like everything very quickly. So
yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's just fun because sometimes it's going to be some work. So it's so easy to just be like, okay, I'm not just upload to merch, or I'm just going to go do something else. So it's nice to have it be where everyone's doing it. So you're like, okay, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to take my time to do this interior. I'm not just going to throw up a line journal. I think it'll be good.
Yes. Now, for those of you that are watching and doing KDP, what do you use for your interiors? So are you using InDesign, PowerPoint, Word, Google Slides, Docs? Give me an idea. I used to know InDesign. I haven't used it for, I think, since 2008, maybe. So it wasn't one that I was planning on relearning, but it's possible. So
yeah, I think a lot of people are like us, where it's like you kind of learned it because you were doing merch or because it was an opportunity, and not necessarily because you were always making books forever. So yeah, I think PowerPoint, Google Slides, even doing things in Canva, all of that.
Okay. Dwayne asked, how long does it take to apply and be accepted? It's immediate. So all you have to do is create an account. You don't actually have to be accepted to KDP, which is awesome. There are no tiers. There are no limits currently.
Yeah, we'll see if any of that changes. But for right now, please upload responsibly is all we can say. Please make sure upload responsibly, drive responsibly. No, it's we don't know if they'll change it, because if too many people just upload garbage, of course they're going to need to come up with some kind of rules. So that's why we have taken our time and learned everything and only uploaded a few. Like, we didn't want to just go crazy. Like, all last year I was mostly just learning, and just uploaded a couple just as I was learning it, because we just really wanted to make sure we upload high quality stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I know what you mean, Lance, but I can teach you other ways. Trust me. I can teach you how to. I know that you I know you were struggling there with, like, I don't know if it was a PowerPoint interior or something like that, but I'll show everyone how to do tables and merge cells and unmerge cells. That's going to get you the straight lines that you need. That's where most people make a mistake. They're trying to like insert these like individual lines, but tables are going to be your best friend. And once you start to work with them, you'll realize and you'll go, oh my gosh, I can actually like create an interior pretty quickly. So
yay, Dwayne's gonna apply tonight. Awesome.
Yay.
I can't wait to see what you do. You do dinosaur coloring books or something.
Yes.
That's great.
Now, Dwayne, when you apply, here's something to think about. So some people apply with a separate email address and separate account. So other people use the same one that they use for Merch by Amazon. But just keep in mind, if you ever were looking at selling like your Merch by Amazon account and it's tied to your KDP account, that could create, a conflict or whatever. So,
and just to be clear, you're not allowed to sell a merch account. You're only allowed to sell a business. So the actual accounts, it's you have to, it's not advisable to do it yourself. If you ever decide you want to, you got to go through some kind of business broker that's worked with merch before. So like Empire Flippers or brokers like that, because merch can't prevent you from selling your business. But they don't want like a secondary market of people buying and selling merch accounts. So that's why in their rules, they're very clear. You're not allowed to sell a merch account. But if your merch account's owned by a business that happens to have been sold, there's not a whole lot they can do about that. But you would have to make sure you have a business. So if it's just like not clear that it's a business, you could run into problems. So the basic way to say it is just probably don't do it. But if you do it, just make sure you learn all about it and do it the right way, because otherwise you could just lose the account in the process.
Yes, yes. But just something to think about when you create a KDP account. Think about whether you want to use the exact same account credentials and everything, or whether you want it to be separate. So I personally created mine separately. So.
Yeah, it's an idea. Also, just in case anything happens, like if something happens to your KDP account or merch account, if you somehow get shut down or who knows, something happens, it's good to have a separate thing.
Yeah.
So, well, this is exciting. I can't wait to do this with all of you guys.
I know. And that's exciting, Dwayne. That's one thing I've been working on. I've got sort of like a kid's book in process. And then I've got the artwork from the kid's book in process for a coloring book. So trying to double purpose all my stuff. So it's like, okay. And then I'm looking at it going, can I put that on a shirt too? So yes.
Yeah.
It's gotta reuse and recycle.
And Christina's so good with Trello and all of that. You can kind of plan this kind of stuff out, and you don't have to do it all right now, but you could put your ideas for the shirt, ideas for your Etsy store, and then circle back.
Yes. That's something we'll go over again. So I've done some Trello videos for organizing ideas and thoughts and things like that. But if you're going to be new to the mastermind group, you can always take a look at those. But I'll be using that as we go through the challenge or through the 8-week training. So yeah.
What do you think? Anything else? This was fun.
Yeah, I don't have anything else, but do we have any other questions? Anything else?
It's going to be fun.
I know. I'm super excited. I just like deep dive into this stuff. So yeah.
And I think you mentioned it in your live, but I don't think we've talked about it today. We're going to cover both paid tools and non-paid tools, because we have all the different tools. So we have BookBolt, we have tangent templates, we have everything that you would potentially have questions about. So if you have any questions about any of those tools, we can help answer them. But if you want to do everything for free, we can show you all free methods as well.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And free isn't necessarily bad. You know, especially when you're first starting out, if you can't afford, the tools and things like that, generally speaking, you can do the same things free. It just takes you a lot longer typally, And
it's kind of good to have it take longer, because you really learn the process. So you can really learn each step by step. And then once you go through the 8 weeks and you learn it and you start to have sales, then you can maybe think about getting tools.
Yeah. I'm excited. I think I'm gonna get, what is it? Publisher Rocket. I can never remember if it's Rocket Publisher.
I know, one of those. Yep.
Yeah. But I think I'm gonna sign up for that. So, cause that's something I just want to see how it works. Like, I mean, I do all my stuff like kind of manually right now. I do use BookBolt for some of my research, but most of it is just manual. So I'm excited to kind of see what Publisher Rocket can bring to the table. So if it's worth it. So
yeah. All right. Well, shall we wrap up?
Sure.
Yeah. Or do you want to talk all night? I don't want to cut it off early.
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I can't think of anything else. So I know there's sometimes a delay. So it's kind of like waiting to make sure there were no other questions, but I don't think there are. So if you guys think of anything, drop it in the group. Tim says Rocket's not worth it. Good to know, Tim. So I hear good things about it, but just never checked it out yet. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I love seeing all these familiar faces in the chat. So thank you guys for always being here, being so supportive. And have a great night. We will see you next week in the KDP Focus.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
All right.
All right.
See you then.
Bye.